Hi there, good morning. I'm Coach Todd. I completed the Ironman 7.3 World Championships, I don't know, on Sunday. Today is Friday, so a while ago. Many of you have asked me, hey, how did it go? And so instead of me, writing out emails and saying this is what happened, I figured I would but I would do a video and talk to you about how the race went. And yeah, it went pretty good. The main reason I did the race, as some of you guys know, is because Tim went down there and did the race. Just over a year ago, he raced Ironman Dublin in Ireland, and he qualified for the World Championships, and he was excited to go. And that excitement kind of was contagious, and I thought, you know what, I want to go too. So if I could qualify, then I said, Tim, I'm going to come and race with you. A lot of times nowadays, I don't race an event by myself. I must always have someone with me that I'm either coaching or I'm traveling with, and for me to do a race solo, it rarely happens. So having Tim there was a major draw for me to even try to qualify. Now, many of you are thinking about, how do you even qualify for an event like this? It all starts with this thing. You see that? It's a coin. Now, Ironman started doing this thing, I think it was 2 years ago. I remember when they started doing it, I thought, it's kind of hokey. But you know what? It's kind of neat. When you get one of these things, it's kind of a special thing, and you can hold it, and it gives you something to look forward to. So, and how do you get one of these coins? So it's a coin that says that you've qualified for the World Championships. And the World Championships are Ironman 7.3 World Championships. So to get one of these things, you need to go and compete in an Ironman 70.3 event that has qualifying spots for the World Championships. For example, I qualified at Ironman Hawaii. I think they had 30 spots available. What does that mean, 30 spots? So that means they're going to look at the total number of people that are in a race. So say if there's 200 people or 1,000 people, they'll take the percentages of people from each age group, and the higher your percentage, the higher number of spots they will give out. And so sometimes there's more guys than ladies, so guys usually have more spots than the women do. So when at the World Championships, there was more men than female, but those numbers are rising, which is awesome to see. And then when you do your race, say for Hawaii, there was 5 spots available in my age group. So you need to come top 5 to get a spot. Now, if you come in 6th, 7th, or 8th, then you can still get a spot. It's called a roll down. So if the people that come top 5 say they don't want to go, then that spot rolls down to the next person. Now, if you do an event, 7.3, and you want to qualify, or you have hopes to qualify, but you don't make that top 5, I would highly recommend you stick around for the finish, or they call it the roll down procedure, where they will say who wants to go. And if they don't want to go, then it rolls down to the next person. For me, I got into this World Championships on a roll down. Hawaii, I came in 6th. There was 5 spots. The first person said no. So then that meant I was able to go, which is kind of neat. Now, let's go on to the race. The race took place in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I've never been in Tennessee before, and it was I thought it was quite neat. The Southern hospitality definitely is true, and it's fun to see. And I'm going to try and promise you keep this video short. I know the last video of the Grand Canyon went on a little bit longer, but it didn't go as long as Grand Canyon, right? But it was pretty long. Okay, the interesting thing for me about this race, everyone was really concerned about the swim. It takes place in the Tennessee River, which means it's flowing, right? It's flowing down. I arrived on Wednesday, and I think I did my first swim, my one and only swim, on Thursday, and they had a rectangle swim course set up, and they actually had boats out there and patrolling it, making sure it was safe, and people stayed within that because they didn't want to get people into the middle of the river and getting hit by boats and stuff. But you had to swim upriver, do a turn, and then come back. And going upriver, it was, you're not moving that fast. And so everyone's main concern was, oh my gosh, how are we supposed to do this swim? It's going to take us forever to do the swim. And my thinking was, well, you're just here to swim. So it didn't bother me at all. And then the big question is is it going to be a wetsuit or non-wetsuit swim? I'm from Canada. We're from Canada. When we swim in water here, it's chilly, but it's nowhere near as warm as the water we were swimming in Tennessee. I hopped in with a wetsuit. I decided to do 3 loops. I did 2 loops with the wetsuit on, and it felt good. I was able to complete the course, which was good. And then I took off the wetsuit and I just swam in a Speedo, like a tiny, skimpy Speedo, and I did my loop. And you know what? No problems. And for a skinny dude like me, if I can swim in a body of water without being cold, and most of you have swam with me and you know how cold I get, then there's no way it should be a wetsuit swim. But on race day, sure enough, they said, yeah, the ladies went on Saturday, men went on Sunday. On Saturday, they said, yes, it's a wetsuit swim. I was just shaking my head. I could not believe it. Everyone leading up to the race was buying these swim skins. And I'm like, well, you're not going to use that. For me, I bought a wetsuit. My wetsuit was falling apart, and they exchanged it for a brand new one at reduced cost. But so I had a brand new wetsuit to swim in, which was really, really good. The swim, like I said, I'm going to try and keep this short. The swim, because there is a electric company upstream, when they turn off their generator or whatever, then the flow of the water reduces. And it reduces like 3 times. So the current is not flowing as much. So it's still flowing, but it's not as bad. We had to dive off a dock, which was relatively high. And I was watching people go ahead of me because there's so many waves. There's 4,000 people doing this event. Crazy, right? Crazy. And I was watching them, get into the water. And I would say 50% of them are diving and 50% are jumping, cannonballing, or whatever they want to do. And I think it's because a lot of us triathletes, we don't dive in, right? We never dive into the water. And when you ask us to dive off something like 3 feet high into the water, like, I'm not doing that. So my question was, what am I going to do? And so I decided to dive in. Now, when you dive in, there's a buoy, there's a turn buoy in the distance, and then there's sighting buoys along the way. And they said you don't need to be on the left side or right side of the sighting buoys. They're just there to help you go straight. And as I was watching all the heats go, everyone is far downstream from these sighting buoys. And the announcer's like, look, everybody, swim to the right, because everyone is to the left. And it was obvious. It was totally obvious. And I thought, why are people getting pushed down? It's either they're not used to swimming upstream, or the current is so strong it's pushing them down, or they're just swimming. So when I dove in, I decided to dive in, brand new goggles, brand new wetsuit, and it sounded awesome. And that was the start of my day. Just hearing the sound rush past my head, I kid you not, it was the best sound in a long, long time. It just like piercing the water. I loved it. And my idea was I'm diving in and I'm going right to the right. Now I know that people around me, they're probably not going to dive in anyway. They're just jumping. So I'm already ahead of people that are beside me. So I dive in and I'm exiting stage right. And those sighting buoys, I am to the right of those buoys. So I am not getting pushed downstream at all. So I was just trying to think ahead. Once you made the turn buoy, then you got to go upstream. And you know what? It's just swimming. I just think it kind of feels like you're on a treadmill, but you just keep swimming. And before you know it, you come to the turn buoy. Yes, it took a long time to get there. When I went around the turn buoy, I decided to go upstream. I went upstream, and then when I had to come to that turn to go back, so then I could kind of shoot myself down with the stream. So that, to me, made a lot of sense. So again, I stayed away from people. I went up, and they were all getting pushed down. So just, again, thinking ahead, coming downstream was good, and that stretch to the finish went by pretty fast, which is good. The transitions were long, like they were really long, and there's so many bags. But the nice thing about being in the very last wave, I think we had 400 people in my wave, is that there's not that many bags around, not that many bikes around. And you know what one of my fears was? Like, it was a tiny fear, was I'm going to be the last person out. I'm going to be the last person. There's my bag, and there's my bike's going to be last. But I wasn't. There were still bags around, so I felt, okay, I'm all right. And then I hopped on the bike. And the bike they're saying it's going to be a challenging bike ride. after 5K, it goes up. You got to go up this mountain. It's called Lookout Mountain. On this this medal here, that's the picture of Lookout Mountain, and it's quite cool. It's quite cool. When I was racing, I decided to go a little bit harder than I normally would. I was training for an Ironman this year. I really wasn't training for this. This was just almost like a cherry on top of my training, and so I didn't have a lot of high intensity speed to go into this race. I had Ironman speed, so I decided to go a little bit higher than Ironman speed, Ironman heart rate, and I did pretty good for, I think, for 90 minutes, and then I started to fatigue a bit, and it was all about just maintaining a good pace and getting through the bike. The last 20 kilometers it was a bit of a struggle, but I got it done. I tried to stay aero as much as possible. We did get stuck behind some vehicles on the course. Coming down one of the long descents, there's a car right in front of us, and there's nothing you could do. I mean, you could go around if you wanted to, but I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna sit up and just wait till it's safe to get around the car. And so little things like that slowed me down, but did it affect my overall time? Well, maybe by a couple of minutes. But again, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I was just there to get this race done. What I found really fun is that the level of competition at this event was it was high. It was really quite high. So everyone at the race had to qualify, which meant you were relatively fast. And some of these guys were they were stupid fast. And it's fun to do that. When I came off the bike, the transition's still long, but I had to pee like a racehorse. I said, you know what, I'm going to go to the porta potty and I relieve myself and then start the run. And sometimes I won't do that. I will do it along the way, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. So I just took my time and then I started the run. The run was quite good. It's hillier than I thought. I didn't have a chance to drive the course or ride the course. For me, it just turned out to be too busy leading up to the race. I had so many things that seemed to be going wrong. Like my bike didn't arrive. It got stuck in Dallas and took 2 days to come back. And I had to try to arrange to get backup bikes, and they ran out of CO2 and little things like that. I had to kind of do that was more important than driving the course. But the course was, I liked it. Anthony did this course. He said, Todd, you're going to love this course. And I got to say, the run course was good. It was a lot of more hills than I thought, but there was still some good downhill. So when you're going downhill, you can really just let your legs go and get into, definitely a faster than race pace going down the hill. And so I optimized those opportunities. See, I'm getting too long. And I went good. And I was happy. For the second loop, when I had to turn off, a lot of people that were in front of me, they ended up going to the finish line because they started before me, like in younger waves. And then I turned right, and there was no one around. Like I'm running down this highway, and there's no one around. And I'm asking the volunteers, where do I go? Do I go on this road? Do I go on this road? I don't know where I'm going. And they go, yeah, just go straight ahead. But it felt like I was either winning the race or at the back of the race. And there's no one around. And it was interesting. So I just kept running. And then after a few minutes, then I saw more people, and they just kept coming. And my pace was good. So I just kept picking off people as I was running. Some people would pass me, but I was passing way more people than I was getting past. So that was kind of fun. The finish line was good. I found that there was a guy in front of me. He stopped to kiss his wife and his kids, and then he got back on track. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to let him run. So I backed off my pace, running down the finish chute. The crowd was dead. The crowd is dead. And so I'd kind of do this to get the crowd going, and they start to roar. And it was fun. It was a good finish, and I was happy. Tim, unfortunately, he got rear-ended on the bike by another bike at a aid station. He got schmucked so hard that his carbon fiber cage in the back was crushed, which affected his bike and the rest of his race. But he was able to soldier on and get that thing done, and so now we are both finishers of the 7.3 World Championships, and we have medals. Check this out, which is kind of neat. I'm not a big fan of medals. I like to appreciate it for a couple days and then I put it in a box. But overall, I would say Chattanooga, if you're going to do Chattanooga 7.3 or the Ironman, it's good. It's a really good race. It's really very well run, and it's a challenging course. So not as easy, or it was harder than I thought it would be. And I gotta say that the World Championships was better than I expected. Like, this has not been around for a long time, these 7.3 World Championships. I think it's maybe 7 or 8 years old, so it's really quite young. And the first few years in Florida, who wanted to go to Florida to do the World Championships? Now, I'm not knocking Florida, I'm just knocking the race. It turned out to be just a major draft fest. And then Ironman moved it to Vegas. And then you could see the pros, the big name pros started to come. And I go, what's going on here? And now, then last year they moved it to Austria. This year was Chattanooga. Next year is South Africa, and then France. And what they're doing is every year they're going to change the World Championships to a different country. I think that's really quite cool, so that you can travel the world and race a major event. And there's very good competition there. So if it's something you want to do or aim for, I think it's quite a good event and a good goal to shoot for. The video, I don't know, my clock is not working on this, so I don't know how long it's been, but it's not that bad. It's definitely not as long as the Grand Canyon video. That's it. Very short video, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, this is Coach Todd saying, hey, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If not, see you later. Anyways, have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks and happy training. Bye.